How to read people instantly without manipulating them. Imagine walking into any conversation and feeling something you almost never feel in social situations. Clarity, not because you can read minds, not because you're always right, but because you know what to watch for and you know how to test what you see without turning the moment into a fight. In this audiobook, you're going to learn a practical system for reading people fast. Not to label them, not to corner them, but to understand what is happening beneath the surface so you can respond with confidence and calm. Here's the promise. By the end, you'll be able to do 3 things on demand. 1. Pick up a person's baseline in about a minute. 2. Notice the exact moment their internal state shifts. 3. Use one calm question to bring the truth closer. That's it. No superstition, no one-tell magic tricks, just a repeatable method. One mindset before we begin. Accuracy is calm. Suspicion is loud. When you get suspicious, you stop observing. When you get calm, you notice everything. So the goal is not to become cynical. The goal is to become clear. Chapter 1. The 3-layer model. What you see, what it might mean, what you do next. Most people confuse reading people with guessing motives, but there are 2 different skills here. Skill 1 is observation, noticing what actually happened. Skill 2 is interpretation, deciding what it means. Observation can be trained. Interpretation must be handled carefully, so we use a 3-layer model. Layer 1, what you can observe. Words, tone, timing, posture, eye contact, distance, gestures. Layer 2, what it might mean. One behavior can mean several things, so you hold meanings loosely. Layer 3, what you do next. This is where you become powerful because a good next move can create clarity even when you are not fully sure. Example. Someone laughs after you ask a serious question. Observation. They laughed. Possible meanings. They are nervous, dismissive, embarrassed, playful, or buying time. Good next move. I noticed you laughed. No judgment. Is this a weird topic, or did I ask it in a strange way? That line turns a mystery into information. Mini recap. Separate observation from interpretation. Treat meanings as possibilities, not conclusions. Use your next move to test gently and gain clarity. Application. Let's make this chapter practical with 3 quick examples. Work situations you will recognize. Example 1. A project update meeting. Instead of trying to read the whole person at once, pick one channel to track. Track their normal pace and eye style first. Listen for the exact moment the tone changes. Look for mismatch between words and body. Example 2. A deadline conversation. Use one calm line that lowers pressure. Pressure is the enemy of clarity. So you give permission, slow the pace, and let the truth show itself. Example 3. A performance review. Notice what happens after your gentle test. Do they become more specific? Do they become more regulated? Do they repair if something felt tense? Those responses tell you far more than any single gesture ever could. Common mistakes. Mistake 1 is deciding too early. People reading breaks when you treat the first clue as the final answer. Mistake 2 is reading emotion as character. Someone can be tense and still be honest. Someone can be charming and still be unsafe. Emotion tells you what is happening now, not who they are forever. Mistake 3 is turning curiosity into interrogation. If your questions feel like a trap, the other person will protect themselves. When they protect themselves, they become less readable. So keep your tone warm, your pace slow, and your questions simple. You are not trying to win a case. You are trying to understand a person. Quick drill. Here is a short drill you can do today. For one conversation, choose a single channel to observe. Only one. Maybe you observe timing, how fast they answer and where they pause. Or you observe voice, whether pitch and rhythm stay stable. Or you observe words, whether details increase or disappear. At the end, ask yourself one question. What was their baseline and what shifted it? Do this for 3 conversations this week. You'll be surprised how quickly your accuracy improves, not because you became suspicious, but because you became attentive. Chapter 2. Baseline in 60 seconds. Learn their normal fast. The baseline is the foundation. A baseline is how someone behaves when they are not threatened. If you skip baseline, you compare people to stereotypes. That's how you misread shy people as dishonest, calm people as cold, and expressive people as dramatic. Here's how to get a baseline in about 60 seconds. Ask a neutral question, something low emotion. How has your day been? What have you been working on lately? How did you get into that? Then, track 4 channels. 1. Pace. Do they talk fast or slow? 2. Volume. Soft, medium, loud. 3. Movement. Still, expressive, fidgety. 4. Eyes. Direct, glancing away, scanning, looking down while thinking. Story: The candidate who looked down. A manager once told me, he keeps looking down, something feels off. She was ready to reject a candidate within minutes, but when she asked neutral questions, she noticed something important. He looked down for almost every answer, not just the hard ones. That was his baseline. He looked down because he was thinking and because he was shy. Once she stopped treating it as guilt, she heard his content. Clear, humble, precise. She hired him, and later she said, "Baseline saved me from a mistake." Deep dive. Quick baseline checklist you can run silently. Rhythm: long sentences or short bursts. Warmth: naturally friendly, neutral, or formal. Certainty: speaks in absolutes or probabilities. Movement: still, expressive, or restless. Eye style: direct, down while thinking, scanning, or side glancing. Baseline is not about liking someone. It's about knowing their defaults so you can notice change. Story: a work communication test. Picture this: the Slack message that sounded fine but wasn't. At first glance, nothing looks dramatic, and that's what makes it easy to misread. So you apply the method. First, baseline. You ask yourself, how do they normally communicate when things are easy? Second, shift. You look for what changed: timing, tone, or detail level. Third, the gentle test. You don't accuse. You don't guess motives. You use a clarity question that invites truth. Help me understand what you mean by that. Then you listen for one thing: alignment. Do they become more specific and collaborative? Do they soften and repair if the message landed wrong? Or do they double down, get vague, or pressure you to accept their framing? When you run the test, the situation becomes readable fast, not because you became harsh, because you became clear. And clarity changes the outcome. It prevents resentment. It prevents false stories. It gives both people a chance to stay respectful. Mini recap. Baseline prevents stereotype reading. Get it with neutral questions. Then treat change from baseline as meaningful. Application. Let's make this chapter practical with 3 work scenarios. Example 1. New team member introductions. Track their natural communication style before judging confidence. Are they naturally brief or detailed? Do they pause to think or speak immediately? This baseline helps you adapt your management style to their needs. Example 2. Project status updates. Notice their baseline energy with routine tasks. This helps you identify when their tone shifts about specific deliverables. Energy drops might indicate genuine obstacles, not lack of motivation. Example 3. Feedback conversations. Establish how they normally respond to suggestions before delivering critical feedback. Some people naturally look concerned while processing. That's not defensiveness. Others smile when nervous. That's not dismissiveness. Chapter 3. Shifts. The moment the story changes. After baseline, the next skill is noticing shifts. A shift is a change in state. Someone becomes more guarded, more excited, more tense, more eager, more detached. Shifts often appear at the exact moment a meaningful topic appears. Watch 3 categories: timing shifts, longer pauses, or answers that come too fast; tone shifts, pitch rises, voice tightens, laughter appears, voice flattens; body shifts, feet angle away, shoulders rise, hands hide, distance changes. Your job is simple. Connect the shift to the trigger. What happened right before the change? A name? A request? A memory? A boundary? When you find the trigger, you find the doorway. Story: the delayed reply. Let's use a simple example. Texting. If someone normally replies quickly, that's their baseline. If a certain topic appears and the reply suddenly takes hours, that's a shift. Do you accuse them? No. You make a calm next move that lowers pressure and invites truth. No rush, just checking when you get a moment. That line tells you a lot. If they respond with warmth and explanation, it's probably life and timing. If they respond coldly or avoid the topic, you learned where the tension lives. Story: a dating boundary test. Picture this: the joke that was actually a test. You're on a second date and they make a comment about your outfit. You dress pretty conservatively. That's interesting. The words sound casual, but something shifted in their tone. So you apply the method. First, baseline. You ask yourself, how have they been communicating up to this point? Second, shift. You notice what changed. The slight edge. The pause before interesting. Third, the gentle test. You don't accuse. You don't guess motives. You use a boundary question that invites truth. Help me understand what you mean by that. Then you listen for one thing. Respect. Do they clarify and soften? Do they repair if the comment landed wrong? Or do they double down and push the boundary further? When you run the test, the person becomes readable fast. Not because you became harsh, because you became clear. And clarity changes the outcome. It shows you whether this person respects boundaries or tests them. Deep dive. A fast way to spot shifts is breathing. Under stress, breathing becomes smaller. Sentences shorten. There is less air behind the words. Another shift marker is fillers. Some people add or you know under stress. Others do the opposite and become overly polished. Neither proves deception. It proves emotional load. Your job is to lower the load, then ask for clarity. Mini recap. Shifts point to what matters. Always connect the shift to what happened right before it. Respond with calm curiosity, not accusation. Application. 3 dating scenarios where shifts reveal important information. Example 1. Discussing past relationships. Track their baseline tone when talking about neutral topics. Then notice if their voice changes when ex-partners come up. Voice tightening might indicate unresolved hurt, not deception. Create safety by saying, "That sounds like it was difficult." Example 2. Making future plans. Listen for energy shifts when you suggest meeting friends or family. Excitement, nervousness, or evasiveness all tell different stories. If they shift toward avoidance, no pressure. We can take things at whatever pace feels right. Example 3. Setting physical boundaries. Notice immediate responses to, "I'd like to take things slow." Healthy people soften and adjust their energy to match yours. Concerning people create pressure or withdraw affection as punishment. The shift reveals character more clearly than any words. Chapter 4. Clusters. The only tells worth trusting. Most body language advice fails because it focuses on single cues. The cues worth trusting are clusters. A cluster is when multiple channels align. Words say one thing, tone, timing, and body say another. That's the moment to slow down and test. 3 common clusters. Cluster 1, agreement without alignment. They say, "Sure," but the voice is thin, shoulders rise, and they step back. Cluster 2, confidence without detail. They speak strongly but can't explain steps. Cluster 3, warmth with boundaries. They're friendly and comfortable saying no. Clusters are not verdicts. Clusters are direction. Call. Deep dive. Here is the simplest cluster question you can memorize. Part of you seems on board, and part of you seems unsure. What's the unsure part worried about? It names mismatch without accusation. It invites truth without cornering. It gives them a safe way to say what they were trying not to say. Mini recap. Ignore single cues. Track clusters across words, tone, timing, and body. Use one gentle mismatch question to create clarity. Application. Family situations where clusters reveal hidden dynamics. Example 1. Holiday planning discussions. Watch for clusters when someone agrees to host Thanksgiving. Words, "Happy to do it." Body, shoulders rise, hands clench slightly. Voice, pitch higher than normal. The cluster reveals overwhelm masquerading as enthusiasm. Response, "That's generous of you. What would make hosting feel more manageable?" Example 2. Financial assistance requests. Notice clusters when family members ask for money. Words, confident request. Gestures, nervous fidgeting. Timing, rushed speech. This isn't deception, it's shame that needs gentleness. Response, "I can see this is hard to ask about. Let's talk through the details." Example 3. Addressing old family conflicts. Look for clusters when sensitive topics resurface. Words, "It's fine, it's in the past." Voice, flat, tight. Posture, defensive, arms crossed. The cluster tells you to slow down and create more safety before proceeding. Response, "It sounds like there might still be some hurt there. Should we talk about it or leave it for now?" Chapter 5. The voice. Tone, pace, and emotional load. The voice is one of the fastest truth signals because emotion changes it quickly. Listen for 4 markers: pace, pitch, volume, rhythm. Now the key, the voice is not a lie detector. It is a state detector. Story. I'm totally fine. Someone says, "I'm totally fine." but the voice tightens, the words speed up, and the sentence ends abruptly. That's not proof of dishonesty. It's proof of activation. So your best move is safety plus permission. Okay, I believe you. And if something is bothering you, we can talk when you're ready. That response reads state without forcing confession. Story, a friend's repair moment. Picture this, the apology that didn't feel genuine. Your friend hurt your feelings last week, and now they're apologizing. The words sound right. I'm sorry I said that. But something in their voice feels flat, monotone, rushed, like they're checking a box. So you apply the method. First, baseline. How do they usually sound when they're being sincere? Usually warmer, more varied in tone. Second, shift. The voice became mechanical when they started apologizing. Third, the gentle test. You don't accuse them of being fake. You use a repair question that invites truth. I appreciate the apology. Help me understand what changed for you about that situation. Then you listen for one thing, authenticity. Do they become more specific about their realization? Do they show curiosity about the impact on you? Or do they stay surface level and try to move on quickly? This tells you whether the apology came from understanding or obligation, and that determines whether the repair will actually hold. Now, the deep dive. Two voice patterns matter most. Compressed voice, less air, shorter sentences, often stress or restraint. Overbright voice, overly cheerful tone that appears suddenly, often avoidance or nervousness. Both are invitations to slow down, not to accuse. Try this line. No pressure, we can keep it simple. What's the main thing? Mini recap. Voice reveals emotional load quickly. Treat it as a map, not proof. Use safety and permission to invite honesty. Application. Friend situations where voice patterns reveal hidden truths. Example 1. Group chat dynamics. Notice voice patterns during video calls when someone suggests plans. Genuinely excited. Voice lifts naturally, rhythm flows. Performatively excited. Voice sounds forced. Rhythm feels mechanical. Financially stressed. Voice compresses, words come faster. Response varies. Create budget-friendly alternatives or private check-ins. Example 2. Canceled plans, explanations. Listen for overbright voices when friends cancel last minute. Something came up, so sorry. Rain check? The vocal energy mismatch often reveals shame about the real reason. Instead of interrogating, try, no worries at all, hope everything's okay. Example 3. Sensitive personal sharing. Track voice changes when friends open up about struggles. If their voice becomes very flat, they might be protecting themselves from emotional overwhelm. Create more safety. Take your time. I'm here to listen, not to fix anything. Chapter 6. The Face. Expressions without the myth. Micro-expressions are real, but people misuse them. The goal is not to catch a split-second twitch and declare someone guilty. The goal is to notice contradictions. When a brief flash of emotion doesn't match the story, slow down and ask better questions. Story, the compliment that didn't land. A coworker says, "That's a great idea." For a fraction of a second, you see contempt, a tiny, one-sided lip raise. Then it disappears. You don't confront them. You test with substance. Thanks. What part feels strongest and what part feels risky? Supportive people engage with specifics. Threatened people avoid specifics or redirect. Story, a work recognition moment. Picture this, the promotion announcement that created mixed reactions. You've just been promoted and you're telling your work friends. Most respond with genuine excitement, but one colleague's face does something interesting. They smile quickly, but you catch a micro moment of something else first. A flash of disappointment or envy before the congratulations begin. So you apply the method. First, baseline. How do they usually respond to good news? Typically, very expressive and enthusiastic. Second, shift. The micro-expression revealed their first unfiltered reaction. Third, the gentle test. You don't call out what you saw. You use an inclusive question that gives them space. This change might affect team dynamics. How are you feeling about everything? Then you listen for one thing: honesty. Do they share their real concerns about the promotion? Do they process their feelings maturely? Or do they stay surface level and hide their reaction? This helps you understand whether you need to be more sensitive to team dynamics or if your relationship can handle this change. Deep dive. Instead of hunting micro-expressions, watch micro-moments. A micro-moment is a brief change in the whole person. Eyes widen, then relax. Smile appears, then drops. Head nods, then stops. When you catch a micro-moment, don't mention the face. Mention the impact. That seemed to land strongly. What came up for you? Mini recap. Don't use facial cues as verdicts. Use them as signals to slow down. Ask a better question and watch for clarity. Application. Work scenarios where micro-moments provide valuable insights. Example 1. Presenting new ideas in meetings. Watch for micro-moments when you propose changes. Quick frowns, followed by polite nods, might indicate concerns worth exploring. Instead of steamrolling forward, I saw some hesitation. What questions do you have? This prevents problems from festering and shows you value their input. Example 2. Performance review conversations. Notice brief facial expressions before verbal responses. A flash of hurt before "I understand the feedback" suggests deeper processing needed. Slow down. Take a moment to think about this. What's your initial reaction? This creates space for honest dialogue instead of defensive compliance. Example 3. Team conflict resolution. Look for micro-moments of relief or concern when solutions are proposed. These brief reactions reveal who's genuinely on board versus just complying. Address it directly. I want to make sure everyone actually feels good about this approach. Use this information to ensure real buy-in, not just surface agreement. Chapter 7. The body. Comfort versus control. Approach versus avoid. Body language becomes simple when you stop reading symbols and start reading comfort versus control. Comfort behaviors look open, fluid, and natural. Control behaviors look tight, guarded, and effortful. Control doesn't mean deception. It often means stakes, fast markers. Feet. Toward you or toward escape. Hands. Visible and relaxed or hidden and tense. Shoulders. Down or raised. Space. Do they move closer or create distance? Story. The feet toward the door. You're talking to someone and their torso faces you, but their feet point toward the door. That often means they want to leave, even if they're being polite. You don't take it personally. You give them an exit that builds trust. I know you're busy. Want to continue later? Respecting their time increases safety, and safety makes people more readable. Story. A dating physical comfort test. Picture this. The first time you try to hold hands, you're walking together after a nice dinner. The conversation has been flowing well, and you feel a connection. You gently reach for their hand. Now, you watch the body's immediate response. Their hand could relax into yours. Comfort. Tense slightly, but stay. Mild discomfort, but willingness. Pull away immediately. Clear boundary. but you also watch the whole body. Do their shoulders stay relaxed? Do they step slightly closer or maintain distance? Does their walking pace change? So you apply the method. First, baseline. How comfortable have they seemed with casual touch throughout the evening? Handshake at greeting, brief touches during conversation. Second, shift. Notice any tension or relaxation in response to hand-holding. Third, the gentle test. If you sense any hesitation, you don't ignore it. You might say, "Let me know if you want space. I want you to be comfortable." Then you listen with your attention, not just your ears. Respect. Do they appreciate the check-in and communicate their comfort level? Do they relax more, knowing you're attentive to their boundaries? Or do they seem surprised that you noticed their hesitation? This interaction tells you about their relationship with boundaries and whether they feel safe communicating their needs. The deep dive. A powerful body rule. Comfort tends to be more symmetrical. Control tends to be more asymmetrical. One shoulder raised, one hand hidden, weight shifted back. Asymmetry is not bad. It's effort. Effort usually means the topic matters. Mini recap. Read body language as comfort versus control. Feet and hands reveal direction and tension. Offer respectful exits and watch the response. It looks like my response got cut off mid-sentence. Let me continue with the rest of the rewritten script. Application. Dating scenarios where body language reveals important compatibility information. Example 1. Introducing them to your friends. Watch their body positioning in group settings. Near you equals comfort and inclusion. Creating escape routes equals overwhelm or social anxiety. Tight shoulders and closed posture might mean they need more time before group situations. Response. Want to step outside for some air? Shows you're attentive to their comfort. Example 2. Discussing relationship pace. Notice physical responses to conversations about exclusivity or future plans. Leaning in equals engagement and interest. Leaning back equals feeling rushed or pressured. Use their body cues to adjust your approach, not necessarily your timeline. Example 3. Setting boundaries around intimacy. Pay attention to how they physically respond to "I'd like to slow down." Respectful people mirror your energy and create appropriate distance. Concerning people use body language to test or pressure boundaries. Watch for moving closer when you step back, dismissive gestures, or tension that feels like frustration rather than disappointment. Chapter 8. The words. Framing, ownership, and vagueness. People reveal themselves through language patterns. Listen for 3 things. Ownership language. I chose versus they made me. Precision versus fog. Specific steps versus vague phrases. Emotional labeling. Can they name feelings or do they act them out? Story. The missing middle. Someone tells a story that jumps from the beginning to the end. I talked to them and now they're mad. You ask for sequence. What did you say exactly and what did they say back? If they can explain, you gain clarity. If they avoid details, you found the discomfort. Discomfort isn't proof of lying, but it's proof the middle matters. Story. A family financial request. Picture this. The phone call that starts with small talk and ends with a big ask. Your family member has been chatting about work, weather, and weekend plans. Then they transition. So, I'm dealing with this situation. But instead of clear language, you hear fog phrases. Some stuff came up. It's complicated. You know how things are, so you apply the method. First, baseline. How do they normally communicate when asking for help? Are they usually direct or do they always start indirect? Second, shift. Notice when the language becomes vague, usually right before the actual request appears. Third, the gentle test. You don't accuse them of being manipulative. You use a clarity question that invites truth. Help me understand the specific situation. What exactly happened? Then you listen for one thing: ownership. Do they take responsibility for their part? Do they provide concrete details about what they need? Or do they stay in victim language and vague requests? This tells you whether you're dealing with someone in temporary trouble who needs help, or someone with a pattern of crisis who needs boundaries. The deep dive. Fog phrases to listen for. Stuff happened. It was a thing. They were weird. Fog protects someone from accountability or emotion. Gentle test. Request one concrete detail. What was the exact sentence? What was the exact moment it changed? What did you do right after? Mini recap. Words reveal ownership, clarity, and emotional maturity. Ask for sequence to reduce ambiguity. Fog usually signals a sensitive area. Application. Family situations where language patterns reveal relationship dynamics. Example 1. Sibling conflict mediation. Listen for ownership language. I got upset when versus they made me angry. The person using I statements is usually more ready for resolution. Focus your mediation energy on the one taking responsibility. They're more likely to create lasting change. Example 2. Elderly parent care decisions. Notice who speaks in specifics. Mom needs help with bathing 3 times a week versus fog, mom's having issues. Specific language indicates readiness to solve problems and take action. Vague language often means emotional overwhelm that needs to be addressed before practical planning. Example 3. Holiday family drama discussions. Track who can name their feelings. I felt excluded when versus who acts them out, giving silent treatment. Emotional labeling skills predict who can actually resolve conflicts versus who will repeat destructive patterns. Work with the emotionally articulate family members first. Chapter 9. The Gentle Test. Questions that create truth without conflict. The gentle test is what makes you look like you can read people instantly. A gentle test invites truth without triggering defense. 3 rules. 1. Respectful. 2. Gives an easy out. 3. Asks for clarity, not confession. 5 gentle tests you can memorize. Alignment. Just to make sure we're aligned, what does success look like to you? Sequence. Walk me through it step by step. Options. Would you rather decide now or think and come back to it? Boundary clarity. Is that a request or a preference? Repair. What would make this feel resolved for you? Story. Pressure disguised as romance. Someone says, if you really liked me, you'd come over tonight. That's pressure disguised as affection. Your gentle test stays calm. Is that a request, or are you trying to convince me? A healthy person will soften and respect your pace. An unhealthy person will push harder or guilt you. Either way, you just learned a lot without drama. Story. A friends group dynamic test. Picture this: the group vacation that everyone wants to take. One friend has been pushing for an expensive group trip. Come on, we all need this. It'll be amazing. Everyone's saying yes, but you're sensing some hesitation in the group, so you apply the method with a gentle test. Instead of calling out the pressure or guessing who's uncomfortable, you create space for truth. You say, This sounds fun. Before we book, let's make sure we're all genuinely on board. What would make this feel good for everyone? Now, you watch the responses. Some people might say, "Actually, the timing is tight for me." Others might add, "The budget is a stretch, but I could make it work." The person who was pushing might respond with pressure, "Don't overthink it, let's just do it." Or they might respond with understanding, "Good point. Let's figure out what works for everyone." This gentle test reveals who's actually enthusiastic versus compliant, who respects the group's needs versus pushes their agenda, who can problem solve versus who manipulates. And it does all this without creating conflict or forcing anyone to be the difficult one. The key is, you gave everyone permission to be honest by making honesty valuable instead of problematic. And deep dive. Permission makes gentle tests work even better. Permission lines. If you don't want to answer, that's okay. We can keep it general. I'm not trying to blame anyone. Permission lowers shame, and shame is the biggest enemy of honesty. Mini recap. Gentle tests create truth without conflict. Memorize alignment, sequence, options, boundary clarity, repair. Pair questions with permission to lower pressure. Application. Friend situations where gentle tests prevent misunderstandings and strengthen relationships. Example 1. Making group plans that work for everyone. Use options tests. Would you rather do something low-key, or are you up for something bigger? This reveals energy levels and budgets without putting anyone on the spot. Follow up with, "No wrong answers, just want everyone to have fun." Example 2. Addressing friendship tensions. Use repair questions. What would make this feel better between us? This invites solution-focused conversation instead of blame cycles. It also reveals whether someone wants to actually resolve things or just vent. Example 3. Supporting a friend through tough times. Use boundary clarity. Do you want advice, or do you want me to listen? This prevents mismatched support that can damage friendships, shows respect for their emotional process and needs. Chapter 10. Power and Status. Reading groups, hierarchies, and social gravity. Reading groups is different. In groups, the biggest signal is not what someone says, it's what the group does. Track 3 things. Attention. Who do people look at before responding? Permission. Who can interrupt without consequences? Emotional gravity. Whose mood changes the room? Story. The quiet decision maker. In a meeting, one person talks the most. Everyone assumes they're the leader. But when decisions appear, people glance at one quiet person. And when that person nods, the room relaxes. That's the influence node. A smart move is to invite them without spotlighting them. I'd love your take before we finalize. Now you've read the room like a pro. Story. A work team meeting dynamic. Picture this. The project meeting where the official leader isn't the real leader. You're in a team meeting to decide on a major project direction. The project manager is running the meeting, presenting options, asking for input. But you notice something interesting about the group dynamics. Before people respond to the project manager's questions, several team members glance at Sarah, the senior developer. When Sarah nods slightly, people become more animated in their responses. When she looks skeptical, people hedge their enthusiasm. When she finally speaks, the room gets quieter and more attentive. The project manager keeps talking, but Sarah's micro-reactions are steering the room's energy, so you apply the method. First, baseline. In previous meetings, who has real influence versus who has official authority? Second, shift. When does the room's energy change? Usually after Sarah's non-verbal responses. Third, the gentle test. Instead of undermining the project manager or calling out the dynamic, you work with it. You say, "Sarah, you've been quiet. What's your take on the technical feasibility?" Now, you're acknowledging the real power structure while keeping it professional. Sarah's response will likely determine the room's direction more than anything the official leader said. By reading the group's attention patterns, you've identified who actually needs to be convinced for this decision to succeed. Deep dive. Look for the echo. In many groups, someone repeats the influencer's idea with new words. That echo reveals alliances and approval seeking. If you want to lead the room, speak to the influencer and include the echo. You're working with the real structure, not the noise. Mini recap. In groups, power is revealed by attention and permission. Watch who the room checks with. Invite the real influence with respect. Application. Work scenarios where reading group dynamics improves your effectiveness. Example 1. Client meetings with mixed hierarchy. Notice who the client team actually defers to, regardless of titles. Direct your most important points to that person, but include everyone respectfully. Watch for the subtle nods that indicate real approval versus polite listening. Example 2. Cross-department collaboration. Identify who has informal influence in each department. These are often not the managers, but the people with institutional knowledge or strong relationships. Building rapport with them early smooths project execution later. Example 3. Team conflict resolution. Look for who others turn to during tense moments. This person often has emotional intelligence and group trust. Include them in solution building, even if they're not officially in charge of the conflict. They can help sell solutions to resistant team members. Chapter 11. Red flags versus rough edges. Patterns, boundaries, and repair. One of the most valuable reading skills is knowing the difference between red flags and rough edges. A rough edge is a human imperfection that improves with feedback. A red flag is a pattern that harms you, ignores boundaries, or refuses repair. Use the 3-question filter. Is it consistent? Do they take responsibility? Do they repair? Story. The apology test. Someone hurts your feelings. You bring it up calmly. A healthy response sounds like, "I didn't realize. I'm sorry. Tell me what landed wrong so I can do better." An unsafe response sounds like, "You're too sensitive. You're making a big deal. I was just joking." Notice the pattern. Do they care about impact or only about protecting their ego? Story. A dating red flag versus rough edge test. Picture this. They show up 20 minutes late to your third date. This could be a rough edge. Poor time management, unexpected traffic, genuine emergency. Or it could be a red flag. Disrespect, testing boundaries, pattern of inconsideration. So you apply the method. First, baseline. How have they handled time and commitments in previous interactions? Were they punctual before, or is this part of a pattern? Second, shift. How do they respond when they arrive? Third, the gentle test. You don't immediately judge or get angry. You say something like, "Hey, everything okay? I was starting to worry." Now you watch their response for the 3 key indicators. Responsibility. Do they own it? "I'm so sorry I'm late. Traffic was bad, but I should have left earlier and texted you." Or do they deflect? "Traffic was insane. This city is impossible." Repair. Do they care about impact? "I know being late is frustrating. How can I make this right? Should we adjust our reservation?" Or do they minimize? "It's only 20 minutes. No big deal, right?" Pattern awareness. Do they address future prevention? I'm going to build in more buffer time from now on. Or do they dismiss it? These things happen. You're not mad, are you? The response tells you whether this is someone who makes mistakes but learns from them, rough edge, or someone who makes mistakes and expects you to absorb the cost, red flag. Rough edges improve with feedback. Red flags resist feedback and blame you for having standards. Deep dive. A rough edge tends to soften with safety. A red flag punishes safety. If you state a need and they become curious and adjust, that's a rough edge. If you state a need and they retaliate, mock, or withdraw affection, that's a red flag. Boundaries reveal values. Values reveal patterns. Mini recap. Rough edges are human. Red flags are harmful patterns. Use consistency, responsibility, repair. Repair is one of the strongest signs of maturity. Application. Dating situations where distinguishing red flags from rough edges protects your well-being. Example 1. Communication style differences. They text differently than you prefer, short versus long messages, delayed responses. Rough edge. They adjust when you explain your preference and ask what works for you. Red flag. They mock your neediness, refuse to adapt, or make you feel demanding for having preferences. Example 2. Social boundary testing. They make jokes about your appearance, choices, or insecurities in front of friends. Rough edge. They stop immediately when you say it bothers you and apologize privately. Red flag. They continue, say you can't take a joke, or escalate the behavior to test your limits. Example 3. Emotional availability patterns. They become distant when you're stressed, needy, or going through difficult times. Rough edge. They recognize the pattern when you point it out and work to be more present during tough times. Red flag. They blame you for being too much instead of examining their withdrawal or punish you for having needs. Chapter 12. Putting it together. 6 story scenes with full analysis. Now we'll apply the whole system using complete scenarios. Listen for baseline, shift, cluster, gentle test, and pattern over time. Scene 1. Work. The yes person who quietly panics. You're in a project meeting on a Monday morning. The room is bright, coffee is still warm, and everyone is pretending the timeline makes sense. Then Jordan says it again. Absolutely. Done by Friday. You've heard that sentence before, and you've heard what usually follows it. Friday arrives, the work isn't done, and the story becomes fog. Now, most people handle this in one of 2 unhelpful ways. They either trust it blindly and get burned, or they become suspicious and aggressive. You do something better. You use the system. Step 1. Baseline. Jordan's baseline is quick agreement. They speak fast. They nod a lot. They sound upbeat even when the stakes are high. They also have a baseline habit of avoiding uncomfortable details. If you ask for a timeline, they answer with confidence instead of steps. So you don't interpret this as dishonesty. You interpret it as a default style. Optimism plus avoidance. Step 2. Shift. Now you watch for the moment the story changes. You ask one specific question. What are the first 3 steps you'll take after this meeting? Jordan's face stays friendly, but something shifts. The voice gets brighter, the answers get faster, and the words become less specific. Yeah, I'll get started today. I'll reach out to a couple people, and I should be good. That is a shift toward fog. Step 3. Cluster. Words. Confident. Tone. Slightly strained, overbright. Timing. Answers too fast, almost rehearsed. Details. Missing. That's a cluster. Confidence without steps. Step 4. Gentle test. You do not corner Jordan. You give an easy exit. No pressure to commit to Friday if that creates stress. If we had to be honest, what timeline feels realistic? Notice what that line does. It removes shame. It removes the need to perform. It invites truth without punishment. Jordan exhales. If I'm being real, I can do a rough version Friday, but the full thing is more like Tuesday. Now, you're in reality. Step 5. Next move. You turn truth into a plan. Great. Let's lock Friday for the rough version, Tuesday for the final. What could block you and what support would help? Now, you're not reading Jordan like a magician. You're creating a system where Jordan can be honest. And here's the deeper lesson. People become more readable when you remove the punishment for truth. What to watch over time. If Jordan consistently overpromises and refuses clarity, that's a red flag. But if Jordan becomes more specific when you lower pressure, that's a rough edge you can work with. Your goal isn't to label Jordan. Your goal is to build reliable outcomes. Scene 2. Dating. The fast bond that feels like destiny. Imagine a first date that feels unusually intense. They lean in. They mirror your phrases. They tell you how rare you are. They talk about the future like it's already scheduled. And part of you loves it. Because being seen feels good. But another part of you feels something else. Speed. Step 1. Baseline. Your baseline isn't about them yet. It's about the pace of reality. Healthy connection builds with consistency. It grows through small moments repeated over time. So when something tries to skip the middle, you pay attention. Step 2. Shift. You introduce one tiny pause. This has been fun. I'd like to keep getting to know you slowly. Now you watch what changes. If they're healthy, they relax and match your pace. If they're unsafe, pressure appears. Step 3. Cluster. They smile, but the tone sharpens. They say sure, but they immediately add a guilt phrase. If you liked me, you'd want to see me tomorrow. Words, affectionate, meaning pressure. That's a mismatch cluster. Step 4. Gentle test. Keep it calm. Keep it simple. I do like you, and I still move slowly. Are you comfortable with that? This is a boundary test disguised as kindness. Healthy people respect pacing. Unhealthy people fight pacing. The response tells you everything. A healthy response sounds like, "Yes, I get it. Let's keep it steady." An unhealthy response sounds like, "You're overthinking. You're making this complicated." Or they punish you with withdrawal. The deep insight. Fast bonding isn't always manipulation. Sometimes it's excitement, nervousness, or a desire to connect. But the pattern to watch is this. Do they respect your boundary without making you pay for it? What to do next? If they respect pacing, continue and watch consistency. If they pressure you, you don't need to argue your way out. You simply keep the boundary and reduce access. You are not rejecting them as a person. You are choosing safety for yourself. Scene 3. Family. The request with hidden conditions. It's a family call on a Sunday. Someone asks for help. Money, a ride, a place to stay. They sound warm at first. Then they add a sentence that changes everything. If you really cared, you'd do this. Step 1. Baseline. This family member is often affectionate when they want something, and tense when they are told no. So you already know the baseline pattern. Warmth until boundary, then pressure. Step 2. Shift. You say a simple no. I can't do that this week. The shift arrives instantly. The voice changes, less warmth, more edge. Faster talking, more moral language. Step 3. Cluster. Words, love and duty. Tone, anger and entitlement. Timing, rapid-fire persuasion. This cluster doesn't prove they are bad. It proves the conversation is not about connection. It's about controls. Step 4. Gentle test. I hear that you want this. The answer is still no. Can you respect that? That sentence is calm and very revealing. Healthy people may be disappointed, but they adjust. Unhealthy patterns punish the boundary. What punishment looks like? They guilt you. They bring up the past. They attack your character. They withdraw affection. Those are not misunderstandings. They are strategies. Step 5. Next move. If the pattern is guilt, stop over-explaining. Over-explaining invites negotiation. Instead, repeat the boundary with a shorter sentence. I understand. And it's still no. Then change the topic or end the call respectfully. The deep insight. People who rely on guilt are not always evil. Sometimes they are desperate, immature, or scared. But your job is not to fix them in one phone call. Your job is to protect your peace and teach your boundary. Scene 4. Work. The calm person who never repairs. Not every difficult person is loud. Sometimes the hardest person to read is the one who is always calm, always polite, always reasonable. But when something goes wrong, they do something subtle. They never repair. Step 1. Baseline. The baseline is control. They speak in perfect sentences. They rarely show emotion. They sound calm, even when others are stressed. That can be maturity, or it can be avoidance dressed as professionalism. Step 2. Shift. You bring up a real issue. Hey, when you changed that plan without telling me, it put me in a tough spot. Watch the shift. A mature person stays calm and also becomes curious. An avoidant person stays calm and becomes distant. They minimize, they deflect, they end the conversation quickly. Step 3. Cluster. Words. I understand. Tone. Flat, detached. Behavior. No ownership, no curiosity, no repair. That's a cluster. Calm without connection. Step 4. Gentle test. Use the repair question. What would make this feel resolved for you, and what can we do differently next time? Now you watch. If they engage, they're likely mature, but restrained. If they refuse, you have important information. The pattern that matters. Everyone misses the mark sometimes, but emotionally, mature people repair. Repair looks like ownership, curiosity about impact, a clear adjustment. No repair over time becomes unsafe, because it means problems never get solved. They only get buried. What to do next? With a non-repairer, document agreements. Set clearer boundaries. Reduce reliance. Don't expect intimacy from someone who refuses repair. Expect structure. Scene 5. Social. The room with hidden power. You're at a dinner, a party, a team event. One person talks the most. They tell stories. They joke. They seem like the center. But when a decision appears, where to go, what to do, what's acceptable, the group does something. They glance at someone else. Step 1. Baseline. In groups, baseline is attention. Who does the room look at before responding? Who gets interrupted and who doesn't? Who can change the topic? Step 2. Shift. Watch what happens when stakes rise. Maybe a disagreement appears. Maybe someone suggests a plan that costs money. Maybe someone challenges the dominant talker. Now, the room shifts. Eyes move, energy changes. Step 3. Cluster. You notice a pattern. After one quiet person speaks, the room settles. People adjust their opinions. The jokes stop for a second. That's social gravity. Step 4. Gentle test. You don't expose them, you simply invite them. Before we decide, I'd love your take. And you watch the group. If people wait for their answer, you found the influence node. What to do with this information? Reading group power isn't about manipulation. It's about navigating reality. If you want your idea to land, you speak to the influencer early. If you want to avoid conflict, you notice who can escalate the room. And if you're trying to decide whether a group is healthy, watch one thing. How do they treat disagreement? Healthy groups can disagree without humiliation. Unhealthy groups punish dissent. Scene 6. Self. When anxiety makes you misread people. There's one last scene we have to talk about because it's the most important one. Sometimes the reason you can't read people isn't that you lack skill. It's that your nervous system is activated. When you're anxious, the brain searches for certainty, and it often gets it by creating stories. Neutral becomes negative. Silence becomes rejection. A short text becomes anger. Step 1. Baseline. Your baseline, when regulated, is curiosity. You can observe without rushing to judge. Step 2. Shift. When anxiety rises, you start interpreting before observing. Your body tightens. Your breathing shortens. Your mind tries to decide what everything means right now. Step 3. The gentle test for yourself. Use one sentence that buys you time. I don't need to decide what this means yet. Then use your body to return to calm. Longer exhale. Soften the jaw. Drop the shoulders. Now you return to observation. Ask a neutral question. Notice the response. Let the pattern reveal itself. The deep insight. The calmer you are, the more accurate you become. And the calmer you are, the safer other people feel around you. Safety makes people more readable. So one of the fastest ways to read people better is to regulate yourself first. Chapter summary. You now have a system you can use in real time. Baseline. Learn their normal. Shift. Notice the change and find the trigger. Cluster. Stack signals across channels. Gentle test. Ask for clarity without conflict. Pattern. Track consistency, responsibility, and repair. You don't need perfect reading. You need calm reading. Calm creates accuracy. Accuracy creates better choices. And better choices create better relationships. Chapter 13. Extra tools. 25 lines that make people readable. Here are practical lines you can use to create clarity fast. They are designed to be calm, respectful, and pressure-reducing. Use them as needed, not as a script. No rush. Take your time. We can keep it general if you'd rather. Help me understand what matters most to you here. What would a good outcome look like for you? What part feels unclear? What would make this feel fair? What are you not saying out loud? Is this a sensitive topic? What changed for you? What are the next steps, specifically? What could block that? What's the risk here? What's the strongest reason for your view? What's the strongest reason against it? Do you want advice, or do you want me to listen? Are you asking or telling? Is that a request or a preference? What would repair look like? What do you need from me right now? Would you rather decide now or revisit later? What are you hoping I understand? What would make you feel safer here? If we were both being honest, what's the real issue? What do you want that you're afraid to ask for? What boundary would make this easier? Notice what these lines have in common. They don't accuse, they don't corner, they open doors. And that is the real secret to reading people instantly. You create conditions where the truth can show up. Quick reference guide. The 5-step system. Baseline. Learn their normal through neutral questions. Shift. Notice changes and connect them to triggers. Cluster. Look for alignment across multiple channels. Gentle test. Ask for clarity without creating conflict. Pattern. Track consistency, responsibility, and repair over time. 4 channels to track. Words. Ownership language, precision versus fog, emotional labeling. Voice. Pace, pitch, volume, rhythm changes. Body. Comfort versus control. Approach versus avoid. Symmetry versus asymmetry. Timing. Pauses, speed changes, response delays. 5 gentle tests. Alignment. What does success look like to you? Sequence. Walk me through it step by step. Options. Would you rather decide now or think about it? Boundary clarity. Is that a request or a preference? Repair. What would make this feel resolved? Red flags versus rough edges. Rough edge. Improves with feedback, takes responsibility, repairs impact. Red flag. Resists feedback, blames others, refuses repair. Power reading in groups. Attention. Who do people look to before responding? Permission. Who can interrupt without consequences? Emotional gravity. Whose mood changes the room? Remember, accuracy comes from calm, not suspicion. Separate observation from interpretation. Create safety to make people more readable. Your regulated state improves your reading ability. The goal is clarity, not judgment.